Hello and welcome to a series of interviews on the lead up to Tilton Tap. My name's Mr. Cookie, and I'm really chuffed to be joined by a real legend amongst the scene. We've got our boy Scythe joining us today. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. How you doing?
It's a real pleasure to have you join us here today, mate, because I've wanted to have a chat with you for a bit because of the sort of West Midlands fighting game scene as well. You've been putting some work in with Street Fighter, you know what I mean? Like, I every now and again, like, I'll just see a message from you, and it's just like, oh, I got top eight at another like weekly, I got top eight at another regional like Wi-Fi thing. You know, you've really been putting in the groundwork, man.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, coming from the London scene and then moving to the Midlands, I was a bit unsure of like, would there still be a scene where I can continue to grind out and this and the third. So I'm glad there's kind of stuff where we have a lot of choice. You got the Warsaw events, you got Wolves at the Wellis, you know what I mean? And both communities like intersect quite a lot. So it's just nice to see the same people as well. It keeps like the fire of wanting to actually go places, even if it's like locals, like it always keeps you coming back. It's
it's
been nice being there.
it's great because like I'm a real big believer in like the local community and like just kind of keeping the fire going, if you know what I mean, because like it's all like really great having like big regionals and big majors like every year and every few months or so. But you know, there always needs to be something just undercurrent. You know, keeping the hands warm, keeping the people familiar, and all that stuff. So like one thing I just wanted to ask you as well. You know, I think we might have talked a bit about this briefly, like at locals every now and again. How is it that you kind of like started getting into like the competitive community as well? You know, most people here would know you like as a sort of Street Fighter player as well. You've dabbled in like Project Plus as well because like every time you come to the Wallace, you're like, oh, have you got the Wii? Have you got the Wii? Come on, let me just break that fucker out. How is it you started to like break into the competitive community way back when?
My story is quite long. So I have an uncle and a cousin who were in the FGC before me. My uncle
Mm.
used to play competitive Tekken Tag 1 in the early
Mm.
2000s in the
Mm.
arcade with like Ryan Hart, Starscream, people know those names. And then my older cousin was a top level KI player. So he used to get
Okay.
good with sport and whatnot. So I was basically raised into the fighting game community knowing where it was. I'd say, so I grew up like around like the Street Fighter 4 kind of era, watching
Mm.
like the Gans Team World Cup and like Battle of Destiny and all those type of tournaments. So I always wanted to get into it, but I was always too young in it, so I wasn't able to travel. Not until like I'd say 2019. So DBFZ was like the first game I was properly able to compete in. While I was
Mm.
still, I couldn't travel much, but I was still playing like in my local scene quite often, doing well. I won my first tournament during that time, and then after Dragon Ball. I moved on to Blaze Blue, Skullgirls, and Melty Blood. And
Mm.
then after that was Street Fighter, which I would say is probably my breakout game, mostly because I've been able to travel and play a lot more. And the
Yeah.
experience in the old games has basically really helped me in here. And then outside of like traditional fighting games, I've always been into Smash as well.
Mm.
Like my younger cousin and I, around the time of let me recall it correctly. PM, whichever one where Pit was like top tier and Armada and them were playing, when PM was like really big, that's when I got into Smash as well. So it was a lot of PM and a lot of Smash 4 as well. But yeah, that's me, man. I've played a lot of games for how young I might be.
You know,
But
like
yeah,
when you know, like the Luke Litter effect. You know, or like you know how like when Luke Littler was popping off in darts and all that, and a lot of
yeah.
blokes were like, a lot of blokes were like, all right, I've got like a young child, I've got like a newborn or like a 1 year old or a 2 year old. I'm gonna raise this kid to be like the best darts player ever. Was your uncle just like, I know what I can do with this boy? I know.
It wasn't even an intentional thing. It was when I was younger. I didn't really care about the scene like that. It was mostly just I want to get good enough to beat my uncle and my cousins. But because they were competitive
Every
players,
time.
I basically had to be able to be like really good at the games in order to hold a candle to them. So I'd say I like thinking about tournaments. It never really hit me until I was at the age where I could actually go to them. So around
Mm.
like 12, 13. But once it hit, I basically never looked back. Like
Mm.
even though it's not like my dream to just only play fighting games. I'd always want to do something outside of it to just maintain it as a hobby and something fun. But
Mm.
I don't think it's something I could ever see myself not doing, like regardless of where I go in life. You know what I mean? So
I've always maintained that like there's certain things that you do to. I remember this one quote ages ago. It was like if you've got hobbies, there's hobbies to keep you socially active, physically like what that's your thing to just indulge yourself in. There's hobbies to keep you physically fit, and then there's hobbies which you are able to turn into like a full-time job. And I feel like in the kind of same boat as you, I'd never want to, you know, I would never be a full-time tournament organizer or like do stuff on the professional level. I love doing casuals, love doing like weeklies and regionals and etc. Helping out other teams at big events and such. But like I love just doing this like as is, and it's something that like even though every dog has his day and all that, I'd never want to just fully say goodbye to it. But I'm gonna say because I've said this before, but I said this before in a previous like chat. We off camera, we were just talking about Dragon Ball as well. Like
Yeah.
big mutual love of the series. It's my fucking white whale was like Fighter Z because I wish I just got into it. I think my PC was shit. I wasn't quite feeling it. I didn't have a stick at the time either, so I just I don't know. I bounced right off it. But yeah, when Marvel Tokon comes out, like day one, like
Good man. Good. I'm looking forward to the events as well, man. Don't worry.
I just have to wait like a little bit longer. But you know what? I'm quite a positive person as well. I know there's been a lot of negativity in the FGC recently for as a Tekken player as well. I'm not immune to all that sort of stuff as well. But on the other side though, like Street Fighter seems to be doing really well. You know what I mean? Like and
I'd say somewhat. It's in a better place now than I'd say it was a year ago. Like even though the content is still a bit bare,
mm,
they're making small steps to change the game in a healthier direction. And I'm a fan of it personally. Like what they've done
mm,
to Panther Parry and stuff. So I'd agree with you on that front. I feel like the way they've made the game is like they know what they want this to be. And
mm,
so stuff like Fireball, Drive Rush, and Throw Loops, like I don't think it's going anywhere because I feel like the game was built with those in mind.
mm.
But they're still tweaking it to make it a bit more healthier. I think both as a play as for players and for spectators as well. Like you're not just gonna see like random perfect parry into backfire until you lose as often anymore. Which is a good step. It's a good step, man.
I like to use the metaphor of if you're making a game, it's almost like you're baking a cake, isn't it? And
Mm.
like when you're given the cake, at the end of it, let's just call launch Street Fighter 6 like a nice chocolate cake, whatever odd. You can't just remove the eggs out of the cake. You can't just ask the waiter to take the milk out of the cake or the flour out of the cake. It's like no, it's designed like this. It's literally built into this as well. And like I know they've made one change which I'm a little bit going over. I never abuse this that much because I don't play the game to the good a level enough. Is they changed Ken? I don't think is effective with throw loops anymore because they've increased the distance. Specifically in the corner, they've increased the distance when you throw an opponent in the corner. He can't quite follow up with like crouching medium kick doesn't follow up anymore. I don't think standing heavy follows up anymore. I think if you like micro walk, you
You
can
can
land.
micro.
If you just little tap it a little bit, you can do a standing heavy punch. But that's been neutered a little bit. So like you can't just remove or neuter mechanics like that. The game was built with that in mind. But you can kind of tweak them around and just make them a bit obnoxious because that just seems to be the thing that I heard for ages and ages and ages. Oh, it's fucking throw loops. That's all it is. You know what I mean? And yeah, I get it. I get it. But like, it seems like honestly, Street Fighter's in a really kind of good spot as well. What's your kind? I was gonna ask as well. You mentioned like you played like all these other games before, like a lot of Anime Fighters, Melty Blood Fighters. Uh, you missed out Street Fighter 5. Did you play Street Fighter 5?
If I did so.
You just didn't
So
want to
around
admit it.
around that time, I was about anywhere between 8 and 10, somewhere in that range. So Street Fighter 5 and Smash 4 were both games that I followed from when they got announced all the way
hmm
to when they came out. So I was really excited for both of them. But even I felt a bit disappointed with Street Fighter 5. Like what we said before about when you're young, sometimes you know why a game is bad, but you can't articulate it.
hmm
When I played Release Street Fighter 5, that was how I felt. So it I just didn't really feel inclined to play it. And then once DBFZ came out, and that was like my competitive focus, even back then, Street Fighter 5 just never really appealed to me. But
Mm.
looking back on it, I do wish I got into it more because now a lot of the people who I'm close with in the scene, when we talk about 5, I'm like, okay, if I played this, I may have enjoyed it because there are a lot of characters who I think look like Ibuki, Colleen, Seth, Poison, Urian, Manat. Like, there's so many characters in that game that look really interesting and fun.
Mm.
I do Zeku as well. I wish I gave the game more of a chance. But I do enjoy watching it. Like I go back and watch 5 quite often, to be honest.
It's because like I mean, I, I was a bit on the fence about it as well, and I thought, you know what, I'll play it, and I'll probably invite my friend whenever me and the boys get together. I'll be like, oh, I've got this game. Should we give it a shot? You know what I mean? My friends don't like play fighting games like as much as like I do as well. Um, And I just remember like all the reviews coming out saying there's not a lot to the game. There's
How
not a lot
bad
of
it was
content.
around those times. I'd never seen a game review in a newspaper before, but I think it must have been the Guardian or the Metro, one of
Yeah.
them. I was with my auntie coming home from school, and I see a horrible Street Fighter 5 review in the paper. That's how you know it's bad. Like, nah.
Some printed media. You know, I mean, physically printed as in saying like, yeah, maybe in a year or two this game will be good, but like, you know, it's just. I think Capcom have clearly learned. They've clearly learned this, and I'll say one thing about Six is that it is a whole package. Like even base when it first came out, it was a whole package game. Like I don't think there were, once people started to get into like the inner mechanics and all that, Ken being just fucking busted for like 2 years. You know, just absolutely unchecked bullshit that was. But it was like straight up, this is a good game. This is a great base to go off, and it's kind of showed in the sales figures because I think as of right now, like in terms of relative lifespan, like end of second year, Street Fighter 2 has sold twice as many copies as 5 did. I
Somewhere.
it's yeah, I remember seeing a graph that said this is how much it sold, and 6 got off to a better start and it's maintained more of a start. Was there a thing with Street Fighter 5? I'm positive that Capcom had to. It was something I read from like it might have been from an old Maximilian Dude video where Capcom basically had to release Street Fighter 5 that year. Like they literally had to because of some
It was
financial
something to
pressure.
do with their partnership with Sony, to my knowledge.
Yes,
It was
yes, they
definitely
did.
something to do with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just hey, look, the series is looking good, and what are your sort of thoughts? Like, we're still talking really early as well. What are your kind of thoughts on the state of the game with season 3 coming out?
It's different, which I think
Mm,
is good. Like, there's always certain characters who are just gonna
mm,
be at the top, but I think it's very healthy to basically just pick anyone you want. I think the majority of the cast is viable, which makes it
mm,
a lot easier for people to want to pick secondaries and whatnot. The tour the tour is okay. I'm glad the point system is coming back because it will
mm-hmm.
reward people being consistent. Like even me myself, I've not really been able to enter most of the World Warriors until this year because of like work and
Yeah.
everything. When I do enter all of them this year, consistency will be rewarded. What I do think is that I kind of wish that the UK was got had a premier instead of being a super region,
Mm,
considering the fact that we have like multiple TOs from different parts of the country. Like we got the twins and whatnot in London,
yeah.
and then down in the Midlands we've got the electronic dojo to run majors. Like it's very strange that we didn't get that. And because our region is quite small as well. Like we've got a lot of countries within the UK, but as a player base, we're quite small in comparison to like the Americas. So it doesn't really make sense to me. That and consistently the UK has always usually had a major. Like last year we had Kings of the World, and then in
Mm-hmm.
5 there was the EGXs in London and the EGXs in Birmingham versus fighting. So I do wish we had another offline event. It would have been nice. But outside of that, I think overall the game is fine. The game is fine. A lot better than before. And my character's good now. We're very good. That's very good for the last couple months. So, I can't really complain, man, to be
It
honest.
it was like really interesting kind of reading the patch notes as well and just like getting those kind of early reactions because I was like, Ryu's getting buffed. Like, why? Capcom fucking hates that guy. Like, the guy's character arc was done in 5. Like, he was just like fine. Well, he was below average for like ages and ages. The guy got shown a lot of love in the most recent patch. Like, what the fuck?
I would have said it's because he's on the box, but he's not. So I just think
No,
they like.
no. And you know what? I am so glad because I picked up the fight years fight the fighters edition because I'm not saying years 1 and 2 fighters edition because that's the dumbest fucking name ever. Like, it's I'm glad that we haven't got like Luke's shit-eating grin on the thumbnail anymore. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I do hope that box art becomes a poster. I know exactly. I'll hang out right there next to the Dragon Ball one. Honestly, that's beautiful box art for the new Fighters edition.
What's the other one you got next to the Dragon Ball one?
It's a Guilty Gear promotional poster
Oh,
from Arcade.
I can just about see Soul Bad Guy. Like now that you mentioned it, I can just about see them. I need to get
Lucky fan a
I
while
need
ago,
to
a couple weeks ago.
I need to get more posters hung up. There's a with a One Piece flag. There's a full size like One Piece straw hat flag hung up there as well. But like it's just sadly out of view, unfortunately.
Let's see what you mean.
So like you're quite prominent when it comes to like entering events. We've all like you know how it comes with work and all that stuff and just availability. Gotta pay. You gotta keep the lights on. Gotta pay the bills. Keep the fridge stocked up and everything as well. But like you've really been consistently like entering like as many events as possible. You go to like the locals quite frequently. You're always jumping on the Wi-Fi brackets too as well, and you're getting really good placements. And I kind of get the feel that you want to build towards something greater over like the remainder of the year. What are your
Yeah.
kind of like goals leading up to like second half of 2025 or like the remainder of the year?
I think my goals have changed basically every year. So when I was really new, my
Mm.
goal was just to be somewhat of a threat in the country, and I did
Mm.
that. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, let me move up. Let me see if I can win any regional brackets. And I've won two regional brackets since I've started.
Yeah.
So now, considering the fact that I've been consistently winning all the tournaments in the Midlands, high placements online and offline at majors and whatnot. My goal for this year is to hopefully qualify for the World Warrior Finals
Mm.
in the UK and Ireland, which I definitely think is doable if I continue playing well. And my highest placement at a major so far is in top 16. So
Mm.
I want to see if I can shoot for either top 12 or potentially top 8 at a major as well. I'd say those are my two like big goals. I do think they're definitely attainable if I continue where I am now. Like even if if you want to count ranked and stuff, like I'm number one ranked in Europe with Kim right now,
You should
and
have
I
that on
don't
like a little
usually
business card. You should just be like, I'm no,
like
some people will not even say their first name. Like, number one ranked EU Scythe here.
number one ranked EU. Like I wouldn't say I don't think rank matters that much in my opinion, but it gives you a somewhat of a benchmark for where you're at skill wise and like inconsistency and stuff. Because like even though I think ranked is very toxic, it helps you practice playing under pressure in first to twos against all types
Mm.
of like skill levels because you'll fight someone from in 2K where I'm at, or you can randomly fight someone in 1600 and the play style is just completely different. So yeah, I think traveling a lot, even if it's just been to locals and back home to London, it's helped me be a lot less nervous on stages as well. So that when I do go to like the mix up soon or versus fighting or either I can hopefully just continue to play at my best and reach those goals. And even if I don't reach them, I feel like I'll come out of it learning something anyway. And then we just keep going for next year, man. Because even though I've played a lot of games at a decently high level, I think Street Fighter is like the first one where I've really been able to compete.
Mm.
Like I think it's my breakout game. So I feel like my journey is still really early on. Like
Yeah.
I'm not even 20 yet, bro. So I'm very optimistic for the future, like no matter what happens. But yeah, hopefully we can qualify for the finals, do well at another major. You know what I mean? So
This guy like just like so positively and casually says like, oh yeah, I've won like fucking shite loads of regionals as well. Like I'm number one like ranked Kimberley EU as well. We're just vibes. So but like it's that kind of like
yeah,
it's that kind of chill mentality, which is what I really, really like about you as well. Where it's just like, you know what, I'm confident in how I play, but like we move, we keep going, and we just progress, and we see how far we can go from there as well. So one other thing I just wanted to quickly check. You mentioned about like entering majors and other events and such. What are like some like key memories for you from like any events you've been to over the last few years, like regionals, locals, majors, etc.
I'd say I'd say when I won my first regional, which was Drowning Pools 2023,
Mm.
I was surprised, man, because I wasn't really going there expecting to win. I was expecting to do well, but I wasn't expecting to win.
Mm.
And it was really close against Link Nova, who was like my demon. Probably kind of is still my demon because when we do play, it always goes either way. But it was having the crowd like against me because I'm from London and I'm not from Merseyside and stuff. It made me want to just try more. I'll be honest, it made me want to try a lot more. I would say, other than that, like even at like WSOs and stuff,
Mm.
like the first time I was able to beat Shax, I popped off because we play very often. Like from when I was new into the scene as well, he was always helping me out, giving me feedback. We trained a lot together and stuff. So being able to get like that was probably one of my first wins on a notable player as well.
Mm.
So that also motivated me quite a bit. And then I would also say this is probably a bit smaller, but when I made it out of my pool winner side at UFA,
Mm.
it was solely because I'd never traveled out of the country before
Yeah.
for a game. So that was my first out of region tournament, and I think I ended up in top 28 or something along those lines. But even to be able to get that far and play on the stage and not make any mistakes and just play cleanly, it felt really good. It felt really good. I just seeing people, and then when I was finished, like yeah, stacked me up and everything. I was like, yeah, this is something, bro. This is really something. I'd say in Street Fighter, those are probably like the three memories that
Because
have meant a lot to me so far.
I've still yet to actually go to like a proper like an out regional thing as well. I mean, like, did you was it like a day multi-day event? Did you make it to day two?
Yeah. I made it to day 3. Yeah, I made it to day 3. So I think it was pools one day,
Hmm.
and then top 96 to top 16 on the Saturday.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, day 2, day 2, day
Yeah.
2. Yeah.
Even just like, finishing like day one thinking like, all right, I mean, you're here for the whole duration anyway, you know what I mean? It's just like go and explore the regions and all that stuff. But it's like, yeah, I mean, day two, like, let's
Yeah.
fucking go, dude. That's great. So like, we know like we know like I sound so weird saying this because like I've been interviewing like all the Tekken players so far, and it's been like, oh, who would you love to see in season three? Well, we already know season three. Like who's coming up as well? Are you looking like who are you looking forward to seeing coming back in season three? And have you got any like out of the line hopes for season four? Like any returning characters?
So out of all of them, I would say I'm more excited for Viper because even though I didn't play 4 competitively,
Mm,
I loved watching Problem X and Latif on the Viper. I always thought she was cool.
mm,
I dabbled in with her in Marvel 3, like, and just looking at her kit, it makes me think about what she could do. Like when she does the crash, like, am I gonna snipe JP full screen when he tries to do a portal? How are they gonna incorporate her cancels and stuff? Is she still gonna have her high jumps and maybe she'll have some sort of focus attack gimmick? Like she seems I'm very curious about how they're gonna put her in this engine, especially because a lot of her stuff, like her mix ups for like left rights,
mm,
and the parry system exists. I feel like they're gonna change her a lot. And then after Viper, I'd say I'm excited for Ingrid,
mm.
not because of her who she is now, because I played Alpha 3 on the PSP, and Ingrid in that game
PSP
wasn't very cool
on
to
the
me.
PSP of all things.
Yeah, Alpha 3, I think Max it was called. And Ingrid was in that, so that's what I know her from. And she seemed kind of boring. She was a bit like Athena in KOF, but
Mm,
just way less interesting. But considering the way they've redesigned her character design, I feel like they're gonna revamp her a bit. And I call it intuition, but I feel like they're gonna turn her into some sort of set play character with like orbs and whatnot. Because
okay.
she was a very zoning and teleport based character in
Mm,
those games. So I'm really curious what they'll do with her. Season 4 wise, I'd want to see Manat. I'd want to see Sodom because I just think Sodom. I love his character design, and we don't really have that many goofy, like fun characters in the game. To be honest with you, I feel like Sodom would probably fit the aesthetic of the game, like his Final Fight character as
mm.
well. We don't have a Final Fight rep.
Yeah.
Kimberly's kind of one. I don't think she'll be in, but I've always enjoyed Ibuki, so I'd want
Mm.
Ibuki in the game. Seth and G. I
Seth.
thought G I thought G was sick in 5. I loved watching G and Seth. Like is Seth. Like who doesn't want Seth in the game, man?
I know, I know. See, like, I, I've been dabbling a little bit more into like Third Strike recently. Like, I like Alex was revealed for season three, and I thought like, okay, I'll go back because like, I'll play a grappler in Tekken 8, and I would have liked to have played a grappler in Street Fighter 6, but I play on leverless and doing 360 inputs on the leverless. It's doable, but it's not fun. It's just like you really I don't know, just hurts the wrist a little bit as well. So like I was looking at some of Alex's stuff and I thought, oh, I don't think he has any full circle inputs. He's got like half circles and quarter circles. I was like, oh, okay.
He's got a super that's a 360. Outside of that, no, I don't think he does.
I think he does. You're right. You are right. He has one, and like, and you never know how they're going to adapt it for a future game as well. But like, a Capcom just going to be cowards and never bring back Q. You know what I mean? Like, there is so much untapped Third Strike nostalgia they could be borrowing from.
They could, and I think they should. To be honest, Q orgy, like just at least build on the story.
I'm
Minimum. Like,
I'm a bit Q pilled because like Scott Mull, like he always just he is a Q main and he'll just bang on about the character for ages. So I've got kind of hype for the character through him, through just
yeah.
living through his excitement and all that. Oh, shout out to Scott, you're a lovely guy. Right, I think that's all we got time for, bud. So look, it's been really lovely catching up with you. You know what I mean? Like you're always a real pleasure to talk to as well. Have you got anything that you want to say to the audience who'll be watching this, who'll be attending the event? Before we close off.
I'll show my sponsor Avatar State Gaming because without them, I would not have been able to travel as much as I have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that they've been able to. I think because of them, they helped me shine quite a lot.
Mm.
To be honest with you, they've helped out with my YouTube and stuff and whatnot. So big shout outs to everyone there. I post videos a lot of me playing like high level players like Endon Walker, Problem X,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So if you do want to see some high level Kim gameplay, my YouTube is just Scythe LDN.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't miss it. And I will be trying to stream a little bit more as well. And my Twitch should be Scythe_LDN. And yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone at Tilt and Tap, man. Calm down. If you're a Tekken player, come get your points. If it's Street Fighter, just calm down. It's a nice community, man. If you're in the Midlands, you kind of don't have a reason to not pull up. So hopefully, I see everyone there, man.
Such kind words. Such kind words. All right, we'll call it there then. Lovely speaking to you, bud.
No worries, all good, man. I'll see you soon.